Video review.
Okay, everyone, form up.
Traveling alone can be cool, but really, the most fun vacations are the ones you take with a few good friends, and maybe the least annoying members of your family. Much the same can be said about Wii Sports Resort. You can play this game solo, and with more than double the number of activities than the original, you won't get bored that quickly. But the games are all still quite simple, so it's a pretty shallow single-player journey. But throw in some friends and it becomes a much more memorable holiday. Wii Sports Resort is a fun, accessible and varied multiplayer experience, and while not all of its minigames are top-notch, there's plenty here to make this a must-play party game for any Wii owner. Of course, to get in on the party, you'll need the new Motion Plus accessory, because none of the games in Wii Sports Resorts can be played without it. You'll get one Motion Plus bundled with the game, and you can get away with having only one for a while, because many of the minigames can be played by sharing one remote and one Motion Plus with a few players. But you're gonna need more if you're hoping for some real multiplayer action. And while this may seem like an unnecessary financial imposition from Nintendo, it doesn't take long to become convinced that they're worthwhile. This isn't some gimmicky plastic peripheral like a steering wheel. The Motion Plus gives even the simplest games in Wii Sports Resort an intricate level of sensitivity that is apparent from the moment you first pick up a controller. Frisbee Dog is a great example. It's easy enough to do. You mimic the real motion of throwing a disc by making a flicking movement with the Wii remote. But the one-to-one movement afforded by the Wii Motion Plus means there are several things to think about in every throw. You have to think about the speed of your flick, the angle and timing of release, and any spin you may want to impart. So unless you're a serious Frisbee freak in the real world, it can be a decent challenge to throw straight consistently. These tight controls make even this basic minigame, throw Frisbee, make the dog catch Frisbee, more compelling and fun than you might expect. That same level of control intricacy can be found in all of Wii Sports Resort's minigames. There are 12 different sports, but many of them have several modes. This brings the total number of activities on offer to more than 20. Not only can you throw your Frisbee to a dog, for example, but you can also hit the links for a game of Frisbee golf. This makes Wii Sports Resort a much more varied package than the first Wii Sports. Of course, not every one of the activities on offer is great, but the majority are good fun, particularly when played in groups. Of the new activities, archery is one of the standouts. The Motion Plus allows for extremely precise targeting, making archery simple to perform but hard to master. Table tennis is another top performer, with the game accurately tracking every slight tilt and turn of your virtual racket. Bowling and golf's Motion Plus augmented improvements are also easy to spot. Most of the other new minigames are fairly dull when played alone, but get a lot better when the element of competition is introduced. Swordplay, for example, is just a whole mess of random waggling. But if you play it in speed slice mode, it becomes a frantic test of who has quicker reflexes. The 3-on-3 basketball mode is also quite enjoyable, if a little simplistic. But there's some real dogs here too. Cycling has you holding the Wii remote and nunchuck in each hand while quickly waving your arms up and down to pedal. And yes, it is as dull and pointless as it sounds. Kayaking, where you hold the Wii remote upright and move it on either side of your body to paddle, is just as uninvolving. But there are plenty of other good activities available, which improves the game's longevity as a multiplayer game because the choices available to you make it so that you won't ever have to play the same one or two good games ad nauseum, which is unlike Wii Sports, where everyone just ended up bowling or playing tennis. Wii Sports Resort doesn't really push the Wii's graphical capabilities. It has got the original's game's bright colors and cartoony looks, which makes it visually appealing, if a little bland. The audio is similarly simple but effective. But that's not to say the game's presentation is ineffective. Nintendo has done what it does best, kept it basic and accessible, with a straightforward menu that makes it very easy to switch among any of the activities on offer. And it's the overall accessibility that makes Wii Sports Resort a must-have. It may not have the lasting single-player appeal, but with so many compelling and downright fun games to play with friends, Nintendo has created another winner that can be picked up and enjoyed by gamers of all levels. If you're itching for a holiday and have got a few friends who want to tag along, then you should definitely drop by the Wii Sports Resort.